Being a single working homeschool mom meant that I needed a curriculum that was open and go, but at the same time not being so plain Jane text that it wasn't interesting to my kids. I needed it to be straightforward, also a blend of spiral and mastery, fun for my kids, simple for me, and not something that was gonna take 45 minutes a day. Turns out that is in fact not too good to be true, and I'm so excited to show you guys this curriculum. Hi guys, my name is Livy. I'm a second generation homeschooling mom to two amazing kids. I love sharing everything as I'm learning it to bring beauty, simplicity, connection, and efficiency to our daily homeschool routine. This video is in collaboration with Davine from Calm the Chaos Homeschool and Shauna from Homegrown Homeschool. Be sure to check out the playlist linked below so you don't miss out on any other curriculum reveals from other amazing homeschool moms. This will be our 5th year using Math Lessons for a Living Education from Master Books. This curriculum is truly all of the things that I just mentioned, with being simple, open and go, straightforward, yet it is still interesting to the child. It offers some really simple crafts and activities along the way, but they're all things that either, like, I already have the supplies in my house, maybe it doesn't require supplies at all, or it's something I can just grab at like the dollar store. It's also an extremely affordable curriculum, and it's faith-based, which we love. It has stories woven throughout, glorifying God and teaching creation. Each level is divided into 36 lessons. Each lesson takes a week, so it is designed for that traditional school year of 36 weeks with a summer break, which is what we do. However, there's a lot of room for leeway here. It's recommended to spend 20 to 30 minutes per day with your child covering material. It is April that I'm filming this, so I don't yet have the curriculum in my hand. I haven't ordered it, which is a bummer because I love unboxing videos. I will be bringing an unboxing video for this year soon, but for today, there are plenty of sample pages that I'm going to show you as I describe it from the Master Books website. Also, my daughter is going into level 3 of Math Lessons for a Living Education, which my son has already gone through. So I'm gonna dig out his book and show it to you as I talk about it. So I do have that one in person, even though it's not an unboxing. The pages will just obviously have already been filled out. This curriculum is designed so that the first quarter is primarily review, which is my preference. That's also really common. Some people will skip through review. I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to comprehension. I don't think you can review too much, and chances are that, at least with my kids, they're gonna lose some of the things they learned over summer break anyway. So we do absolutely every lesson. From there, because it is both spiral and mastery, the last 3 quarters will then be a combination of review as well as introducing new concepts to the student. Silas is 10 years old and he will be going into level 5 this year. For the first quarter of this curriculum, he is going to be reviewing as far back as addition and subtraction. It does review back even a little bit further than a year, which I love. And then we'll quickly just breeze on through and continue on to reviewing multiplication, division, fractions, and decimals. The second quarter is going to introduce him to common factors as well as proper and improper fractions, finding common multiples and common denominators. As an example, I'll show you the sample page in lesson 12. The student is introduced to finding factors of a number while also reviewing word problems as well as long division, as well as adding and subtracting fractions and solving for the unknown. For the third quarter, the student will primarily be focused on how to add and subtract fractions with uncommon denominators. So if we go to lesson 24 as an example, it starts by breaking down how to subtract fractions when you need to borrow. And it goes into how to calculate different measurements such as miles, feet, yards, and more, followed by more fraction work. We've got some review of addition and subtraction into quadruple digits, some review of how to write dollar amounts in word form, and more. The fourth quarter, again, does provide some new concepts for the student to learn, such as dividing fractions, dividing decimals, and multiplying decimals. So I'll go to the example page of lesson 36. You can see they will be multiplying decimals. They will be writing out how they would break down how to do this in their own words, as well as solving this fun puzzle. So that is Math Lessons for Living Education Level 5 in a nutshell. Now let me go grab Math Lessons for Living Education Level 3 that my son's already gone through, and we will flip through some of that book. All right, here it is. I keep them stored in a binder. All of the pages in these books are, what do you call it? They're the pages that you tear out. They're perforated lines. It's not spiral bound. So as my kids go through it, each page they complete, I just store away in a binder. Daisy is 8 years old and going into level 3 this year. Again, the lessons, it's 36 lessons, each 1 week long. The structure is the same for all levels. Quarter 1 will be a review of everything from counting, skip counting, place value, to measurements and word problems. So it opens with this cool little logic exercise. It says, when the 1 is folded to form a house, which house of 2 through 9 will it make? Then going straight into lesson 1, you'll see that the child starts by reviewing place value with a physical mat and counters. Then they have copy work. This curriculum is kind of copy work heavy. I like that, but if I didn't, I would not hesitate to skip those pages if you feel like they already do a ton of handwriting or they already know to count really solidly and just don't need it. So here she will be copying 100 through 200, review of being able to differentiate odd numbers and even numbers, and some more review of skip counting with color coding. Quarter 2 opens with the new concept of adding and subtracting and counting larger amounts of money. She will be introduced to multiplication, starting small with 1s, 2s, and 5s. Same with division, again introducing 0, 1, 2s, and 5s. Introducing the area of a rectangle and square. Then she will learn to multiply and divide by 3, as well as deepening her understanding of fractions. Here are some sample pages of these concepts for you to look at. So if I skip ahead here to lesson 12, then I can see in the first exercise that she has to draw out a visual representation of multiplication. So if it's 2 times 3, then she has to draw a shape in groups of 2 3 times. On the next page, she reviews telling time. So she has to write down what time she sees on the clock they have printed here. She has to be able to tell me and draw what the thermometer is reading. This is also a review. Next page is a review of mental math. So she has to do a longer problem of a combination of adding and subtracting. Some early multiplication problems, doing her ones. On the next page, more introducing of multiplication, showing pictures of dominoes. Again, like showing her that multiplication is about adding groups of numbers. She is going to learn how to round numbers, round to the nearest 10 in this case. Above that, there is some practice adding and subtracting into triple digits. And on the last page of lesson 12, it introduces counting by 5s and multiplying by 5s. Moving on to the third quarter, she's going to learn to multiply and divide her 4s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s. Lesson 21, the whole lesson is just a review of all the concepts she's learned so far. So they do occasionally break like that and do an all review lesson, which I have found incredibly helpful. That again is that spiral coming into play, spiraling back around to things you've already learned, maybe even already mastered, but you're still going to use it again and again. She works up to rounding by the thousands and how we use rounding to estimate numbers. She'll be introduced to higher place value, going now into the millions. Let's look at lesson number 24 as an example. It has measurement concepts. So I'll flip to lesson 24, exercise 1. They just have the student copy out some distant measurement facts. So 5,280 feet equals 1 mile, 1,760 yards equals 1 mile, and 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton. Then you've got some review of fractions, some rounding practice, multiplication and division practice. Moving on to exercise 2, there's some more mental math, more practicing writing out those measurements that we learned. Below that is something I really like. It shows write the value of the underlined number. The first one is done for you. So they underline the 6, that number represents 600. Then they underline 6, that number represents 6,000. I just found that this really helped with comprehension and reinforcement of place value when my son did it. And below that, again, more practicing borrowing and carrying when you do triple digit addition and subtraction. On the next page, 230, review of telling time, finding the perimeter of a rectangle, solving for the unknown, whether or not you need an addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division sign in there for the problem to make sense, and rounding to tens, hundreds, and thousands. Then finally looking at last quarter, introducing solving for unknowns, introducing inequalities, review of new concepts for a whole lesson, addition and subtraction of even larger numbers. She's going to learn Roman numerals, review of all addition and subtraction. So that last quarter is just a little more review heavy to wrap up the year. Review of rounding, estimation, place value, review. Let's take a look at lesson 36. Also, I've been kind of skipping over it up to this point, but each week, so each lesson begins with a story about a family. The main characters are the twins Charlotte and Charlie, and they apply new concepts, introduce new concepts by continuing the story about this family to the kids. We continue on to exercise 1 of the final lesson. You'll see copy work or learning the Roman numerals, adding and subtracting into quadruple digits. She has to fill out clocks using Roman numerals, reviewing Roman numerals, division, multiplication, or Roman numeral practice, measurement practice, drawing lines to match the inches assigned, finding the perimeter of different shapes, measuring things around your house. That is the end of the book. I really hope that this video was helpful for you guys and gave you like a good solid taste of what using this curriculum is like. It is available in my Amazon store linked below, or if you're like me, I really just prefer to buy it directly from Masterbooks at masterbooks.com, and you can see all the different curriculum they have there. If you want to get all your curriculum from one spot, that's not what I do, but you can absolutely do that on the Masterbooks website. Again, remember that this is in collaboration with Davine from Calm in the Chaos Homeschool and Shauna from Homegrown Homeschool. They have some wonderful videos, and there are way more moms in the collaboration than that in the playlist linked below, so you can check out even more amazing curriculum. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.